Today we're going to get to ride the FCR. Now I thought before we actually go out on a ride, and it's an unpredictable time of year weather-wise. It's been raining a lot and crazy kind of weather coming through this time of year. I'd go back to the very beginning. When I got this bike, it was strictly as a track bike. We used it for 3 years. This is down in Millville, and I really did enjoy it as a track bike. But the problem, of course, with any bike, you start falling in love with it, and then I start thinking, well, yeah, maybe I should register this and put it on the street too, and and then I decided I was going to paint it into this Ferrari paint job. That lasted 3 or 4 years. Then I did the 900-hour restoration that is on my channel. Every bit of it is on that channel. Put the yellow paint job on it, and that was a real labor-intensive thing. And I have, since I got the bike and did the restoration and the track days, I looked at the logs. Got a little over 20,000 miles on it. Had 3 or 4 sets of tires over the course of the time. Chains, sprockets, did a lot of maintenance on it. I try to keep the bike running as nice as I possibly can. Of course, it's a bike I'm never going to sell because it's historically registered and basically a free bike. But last winter we had an issue with a leaking carburetor. Now that was a serious thing. I went out on a ride and I noticed, I got some gas, a smelling gas, and so I made it home. Did the carburetor test, and it's freezing cold. And I mean, I know that's out on the channel too. But it was brutal working on a bike out in that garage. I'll bet it was 20 degrees or something. But anyway, spring comes as it always does. The wisteria blooms, and I got the itch to ride it some more. We put some miles on it this summer. Not as many as we'd like because we have the modern bikes, the MT-09 and stuff, and that traction control and quick shifter make them a lot of fun to ride. But anyway, I thought I'd share that information and share a little bit of the history. I've had the bike 9 years now. Just a little bit of the history why I've had it. It's historically registered, and the odds are real good that I'll never sell it. Now, the last time I rode the FCR, I went for a ride. I came back and I noticed the choke cable was flapping around. I assume there's a little fitting in by the carburetors that the little cable end came off or broke, or I need a new choke cable, or it's kinked, or whatever. So before I go out for a ride today, before I do anything, I got to see what's cooking down here, and I don't want to have the cable bouncing around or doing any damage down there. So it's a very easy choice I have. It's either that or don't go for a ride today. So as always, choice one, move some motorcycles around and get that guy out here where I can work on it a little bit. Now I'm trying to be careful here because we are expecting some rain momentarily. I didn't want to be caught with bikes out in the driveway while it started raining. Now on the FCR, that cable, actually it probably will be reasonably easy to get to. I got to take the seat and the back end off, jack the tank up, and I can see where it's attaching to the carbs. Hopefully that's going to be a very easy fix here. On a day it looks like it's going to rain any minute. And one nice thing about fuel injection bikes, no choke cable. So it looks like what had happened, it looks like this was just up on a lip here, actually a very easy fix. So that was probably the easiest fix I've had in many moons. I was hoping I wasn't going to have to take the whole tank and seat apart, even though I've done it. It's not a big deal, but having that cable, and what happens, everything wears out on these old bikes. It had just jumped up and it was loose. So that was really an easy fix, no big deal. And but the only problem is this is definitely not I was hoping I'd even get a little ride. It doesn't look like it's going to get any nicer, but we'll see. So it looks like I might have caught a little bit of a break there. I thought I was going to have an hour of work here, but the whole day changes, but the weather isn't. And so what I may as well do, and I always like to stack the deck in my favor, is get the bike pre-flighted, get it cleaned, and if the rain comes, we'll just wait for another day. But we'll be all pre-flighted and ready to go. Now the other thing with winter coming, this bike tends to run a little rich. It's got and I don't even know who made the jet kit. It's got a jet kit in it. And when we used it as a track bike, it ran rich, but it never had any mechanical problems with it. Never did anything to it. Now one thing Yamaha did not engineer up well on this bike is to check the oil. You really have to be down laying on the ground like a snake. Okay, so we basically were just going to clean the bike up and see what the weatherman has in store. And I always really prefer to have the bike clean, at least in the beginning of the ride. Well, for the whole ride. A couple of things that I like about when I restored this bike, doing those custom headlights that blink and change color and whatever, that I thought was a cool feature. From the days of track days, we chewed up and warped the original discs. Those are brand new EBC discs I got from Vlad. We had a bubble in the paint here that I made an extensive video of, it's actually more than one video of how that played out. It's buffed out beautifully. You can't even tell where it is now. That's really one of the nice features of this bike. And of course, thank you to John Pathia for helping me with he laid them out, the FCR, the logos. So that's a little thing I'm going to have to keep my eye on, that little piece doesn't jump out. I don't know how that happened or why. I don't know, but I had some concern the last time I rode the bike. When I saw that lever moving around, I was getting a little nervous. Another thing that's worked out really well on this bike, the sprockets. And the sprockets, we did 3 years of track days with that and never wore out a chain or a sprocket. Now another thing, as long as I'm sitting here waiting to see what the weather's going to be like later today, information to share. I have several different mufflers for this bike. I have one that's real quiet, but the bike kind of doesn't really want to run right. I'd probably have to take the jet kit out and put stock jetting in. This, on the Norton muffler, it seems to run the best. Unfortunately, it's loud. And so we still haven't given up on the fact maybe at some point in time we're going to get a different muffler for the bike. But in the meantime, this is the muffler of choice. But you never know. Mufflers appear in my shop like magic. And I've had 6 or 8 sets of handlebars on the motorcycle over the years. The ones that I like the best, the most comfortable for me, these are the stock bars that come with a Suzuki GS 1100. They seem to work really well. And they have the heavy weights in the end of the bars, so it acts like a steering dampener as a free bonus. And another bonus, I was able to get a Jivy tank bag mount so I don't have to ride without a radar detector. And boy, is that a big issue. And the paintwork, I know I've got 900 total hours involved in the paintwork and the restoration. Probably half of it is the paintwork and laying out the ladder stripes reminiscent of the Kenny Roberts era of Yamaha. And of course, one of the features that I loved on the restoration, and I spent a lot of time, John Pathia helped me with it, is basically the running lights, headlights, turn into blinkers. I think that's just a very cool feature of the bike. But it's all in the eye of the beholder anyway. So we'll just have an extra cup of coffee while we're waiting for see how this day is going to play out weather-wise. It is really looking like it's going to be a rainy day. So I thought I wanted to pass on some other really good information here, and this is something that I didn't realize when I first bought the first booster battery for this winter riding, and obviously we're trying to get ready for a long winter ahead of us of riding. I never realized you're supposed to charge these every 2 months. So today would be a good day to get this on charge, let it come up to full charge, and this is the day to do it right now today. I also wanted to mention something. See, I always keep a bunch of extra batteries for things in the little work bag here. But you know what? While I'm charging batteries, I always tend to think it's a good time to charge. I have electric gloves. I have extra camera batteries, and I like to take once every 2 months and just charge everything. And I have 3 extra batteries for the motorcycles that I use for testing. So it's a good day. Today will be the day. It looks like I may be here all day, in fact, to charge up all the batteries. Now, if you have one of these booster batteries for riding in the winter, and Luciano has saved me, and I've saved 3 or 4 other people with this bike, with this battery already. Most motorcycles and cars. This will start a V8 car, no problem. But here's what the thing is. There's a button up here that sticks up just enough. So what happens, I have to make a little piece of plywood on this, because if I put this in my bag, it presses down on a button and turns it on. Well, and that kills the battery. How did I find that out? The hard way. So right now, I wanted to show that little trick, little tip, make a little piece of plywood or something, and so that button doesn't get pressed. And of course, we'll wait till it comes up to full charge. Usually takes about an hour. And there'll be some point in time here very soon, maybe sooner than you think, we're going to be using our electric gloves when it really gets really nasty out. And the thing is, I try to charge them every 2 months religiously, even though they're lithium ion. Every 2 months. I've learned that the hard way, because if you don't do that, you wind up having to replace these batteries, and they're expensive. And here's a little tip that I have in the shop. I have a little thing of when I charge it, and check it. Last time was 9-1, this is 11-1. Well, we want to check that off and I want to keep a log of it. And that's all the batteries, all the peripheral extra batteries I have for the cameras and the motorcycle. So I have the battery for the electric jacket, battery for the electric gloves, spare batteries for the motorcycles. And what I do, I just keep track of this. These are now 11-1. And of course, same thing on this. I keep track of everything. And this is 11-1. And so it just allows me to keep everything charged one day every 2 months. I do this routine, and it seems to work well. I haven't had a problem with the electric gloves or the electric jacket since. So my whole idea, if you keep track of when you charge these things, you're a lot better off than if you just do it from memory. Well, it looks like it's finally clearing up a little bit here. I don't know. Weather's always unpredictable. Okay, birds, how about some sunshine today? You know, we could use a little sun. I feed them. They could make the sunshine. Well, it looks like our patience might have paid off. It's getting a little nicer now than it was earlier. Well, we're going to get ready to head out and hope for the best. Okay, boys, anybody want to take a ride on the FCR today? All of yous. Well, only room for, well, there's no room. No passenger seat. No fish seat. Well, it looks like maybe our patience paid off here. We've got a little bit of sun anyway, but it's not supposed to be a real sunny day. We'll see. We'll take whatever we get. Well, we still got the beautiful Thanksgiving, Halloween stuff out. It's just beautiful out here. Oh my God, what a beautiful day. It actually turned out to be a pretty nice day. So as soon as I get out on the open road, immediately I wish I had the quick shifter from the MT-09 on here. And it's amazing how quick you get spoiled with a quick shifter. And I keep thinking, yeah, they probably make one for this bike, but you know, it's coming up on its old age pension plan here. You can see we really had a lot of rain in the last couple of days. We've had some pretty crappy weather. Looks like the sun might be coming out though. Who knows? Now, I've had Michelin 2s and I've had Metzlers on this bike. I like the Michelin 2s better, and they lasted a little longer mileage-wise too. Was the best of all worlds. And I think they were better in the wet, or in days like today when the roads are wet and there's a lot of slippery leaves. So that beep you just heard on the video, that's our Valentine saving our bacon. You can actually smell the bacon going into the frying pan. And who knew? You never know, especially on the open highway. There's plenty of places behind you on who knows. But the Valentine is a bacon saver.
So there's still some beautiful trees around, still a few flowers, still a few trees. We're making the most out of every day we possibly can ride.
Now, I literally have hundreds of hours of carbon fiber repair and work and body work on this bike, especially on that front fairing. And actually, over the years and over a lot of miles, I've got a lot of miles on this bike, it has really held up well. It's held up surprisingly well. Yet another Valentine save. What? They were out in full force today. And one of the only downsides of this bike, it's a 1000cc bike, of course, and it's really not the mileage king that the MT-09 is, but it's not as bad as the RD. It's somewhere in between. And you can still see there's plenty of puddles and plenty of places all around the road where it's wet and slippery. And so, but again, the Michelin 2s, they are uncanny how good they've worked out on this bike. Even on a track, they were really, really good. And I can't say enough about them. Now, after many modifications, many changes to the bars and the ergonomics, I've finally gotten a bike to where it's really comfortable. And about the only thing left on the bike that I'm really not happy with is going through populated areas today. It's a loud bike. this is the only bike in my collection, except for the bikes that I can't lower the forks. This one I could, but I haven't had a chance to do it yet. That'll be an interesting experiment sometime in the near future. Hopefully before the winter gets here and we get snowed in. Another thing that's held up really well over the years, many years now, several years, the painted wheels. I remember putting so much extra time on them, even hand buffing them, and that thin accent stripe. Well, it's all paid dividends over the years. They've held up well. Now, another thing that's held up really well, the rear sprockets. I've got them on, I think, 4 of the bikes. I've never had one show any problem or any extra wear. I've replaced chains and they've held up well. And to be honest, one of the nice things about them, I like the way they look, and they are a lot lighter than a steel sprocket. And that's why I have the nickname for this bike, the track bike that will never die. It's got 9 lives. It's been a Ferrari. It's been a track bike. It's been a street bike. It's been a comfortable bike. It's been a bike I've enjoyed riding year after year. It's the bike that never dies. He's got 9 lives. Problem is, I don't know how many lives I have left. Well, it's time to turn around and head back. We have taken advantage of a day that started off looking like rain. Didn't get better right away either. And had a little specks of sun all during the day. But at the end of the day, it wound up a day that we got a really nice ride, another ride on the FCR. Unpredictable day. Who could ever have expected? And here I get back home and the sun is out. That's the way it is this time of year. Anyway, the only downside of the whole day is now I've got some work to do, clean up the bike. There are a lot of puddles, a lot of wet roads, and I don't like to put the bike away all dirty, because you know the gods see everywhere, that's for sure. So anyway, I hope you did enjoy sharing a ride with us. We love getting out on the FCR anytime we can. And we're coming up on that point of the year where every day is an adventure with the weather. And we got all our batteries charged. We're ready to go. I'm ready. Let it snow. So if you're new to the channel, we do try to post up something motorcycle related almost every day. Sometimes we have family stuff that gets in the way. Sometimes we have medical stuff that gets in the way. But we try to post something every day. And I work on bikes or ride them virtually every day. That's the passion that I try to share with my video channel, with my friends, who all seem to have the same passion. We all have the same desire to get out on the open road as often as possible. I love the fact that my small, humble bike collection, every bike is different. They're all unique, and no 2 rides are ever the same, that's for sure, even the 2-strokes. So I hope you did enjoy watching the video and sharing a ride with us. And I hope We'll see you tomorrow.